It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Thank you, Mr. Dick Irvin. What a great day to talk hockey indeed, especially whenever I'm joined by my cohort, Rick Springhetti. Rick, do you think Dick Irvin would be impressed by by the current crop of prospects in the Habs system?
Of course he would be. Dick Irvin was a great hockey man. He knew his stuff. He knew his abs. He looks at this and he goes, not so bad, not too shabby for 11 to 20 there. I think there's a lot of NHL teams that would be taking, we don't have quite that much talent in between 11 to 20. So Dick Irvin would be impressed by the Habs and by our show today, Grant. He'll be doubly impressed.
Well, he did the intro. He must be. Um, so you know what? This we're doing. By the way, we're doing the top 30 prospects. Last night with Blaine Potvin, it revealed 21 to 30. Tonight it's going to be 11 to 20, and tomorrow, Rick, he's doing a double shift here in the 24
Yes,
hours
sir.
with me. He's about, I don't know, 10 or 11. We'll do the top 10. We'll reveal the top 10. So Rick was kind enough to join me tonight. It went well having somebody else comment on him first, and so I could say how crazy, you know. I only did it a couple times with Blaine, told him how crazy he was for his opinions, but I'll try to be nice to you, Rick, as always. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, the so in looking at the Habs prospects right now, I would sum it up in I don't think there are any, like, there's no Demidovs right now. There's no Lane Hudson. You know, not not the A+ prospect in the system at this point, but it's deep. I like the depth. It's decent quality and lots of depth in the system, which is why I think some of these players that are in the 11 to 20 range, um, they're going to have a difficult time probably cracking Montreal's lineup just because they have so many good young players under the age of 27 on the team, which means they're likely going to be on the team for another 5 years to 15 years in some instances. Hopefully, Demidov's around and Hudson are around for the next 15 years. Slav, but they they look like NHL prospects. Some of these players that they could play at some point in the league. It just may not be in Montreal.
That's a possibility, and we've said this many times, Grant. You're drafting for assets, and the assets might be in your organization, or they might be trade bait or anything like that. So, and that's perfectly fine. The one thing about, I think, what the Habs have in their system right now is in the players you're gonna probably talk about. I suspect at the very least, a lot of them can project in a support role for Montreal, rather be on the fourth line or 6, 7 defensemen. You don't have a lot of guys that is either top two lines or nothing, right? They have certain
Yeah,
qualities that fit for that kind of support role. That's a big plus to have because you're not trying to fit somebody in a role that he can't do. I think that's going to be a plus. And I think a lot of these guys that they have, I think the Habs went in there with the idea of saying they have some tools we like. We know they're a long-term projection, and I think that's the situation with a lot of these guys that they have in their system right now. These are guys that the Habs are going to leave alone for quite a few years, 2, 3, even 4 years. See what happens. It might be like 2 years in college, full years in Laval, and then we'll start seeing them probably play a role. Um, and they're going to probably want to get bigger and stronger because often when you're playing that support role, it's more of a physical grinding game that you'll play more often than not, or it will be a defensive specialist role. And those take a bit of time because you have to learn how to read the play, anticipate the play, think the game differently. So
yeah,
there's things that fit for what they have right now. So yeah, we're not looking at the future, no 40 goal scorer in this list, but there's a lot of them that I could foresee them carving themselves a niche in the NHL somewhere.
yeah, yeah. Well said. We've got. We'll start with number 20 and work our way down to 11.
Right?
Rick, I know you're having late supper tonight, so we'll try to get to it here and get
Sure.
get these all done. I've got a little video clip of each, and
Uh-huh.
I'll and a little bit of a write up.
Great.
So um, we'll do it that way. After
Awesome.
the video clip, I'll ask you for your thoughts. Okay. So we're
Awesome.
starting with
Awesome.
okay. We're starting with number 20 here, and it is Mr. Etos Koivu, Saku's son. He's I you know I didn't think, Rick, that he'd be in the top 20 till I had a look at video later on, and we'll just here's a little bit of, of video on him. But he's 6 foot, 180, turned 20 in June. Yeah, obviously son of Saku, nephew of Mikko Koivu. Canadians selected him in the third round, 70th overall, 2024. After a season in which he worked his way from the junior team in TPS into Liga. So he split the following season between junior and senior, producing 13 points in 17 games at the U20 level while continuing to gain experience in Liga. This past season, he made the jump basically to full-time duty at TPS, playing in 47 Liga games and producing 4 goals and 9 points. He also represented Finland at the World Juniors last year, although the tournament lasted only 2 games. His tournament lasted only 2 games. He'll remain with TPS for another season in 2026, 27. Obviously, 2 years ago, he he had the mononucleosis, and that really set him back. And I think, hey, it's not easy for 20-year-olds playing in the in Liga. Those stats aren't eye opening by any means, but when I looked at him, there's a lot of things to like there. Okay, he's got very good, like the size skating combo is pretty good. He competes fairly well. I've seen a jump in his competitiveness since his draft year. He plays with a little bit of physicality, and he's got a very good shot. If there's one thing that he does better than his old man, and it might only be one thing, that would be his shot. I think he's got a better shot than Saku did, and no, it has not resulted in a lot of points yet. But if he'd have been playing junior last year, I think he would have lit it up. That in between age where you're too good for junior and not good enough to play a offensive role yet at Liga, which, as you know, Rick, is a low scoring league.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on him?
When I figure he would be around here, I didn't, I don't. He's not somebody I've seen a lot in the last 2 years, truthfully, if I have to be very honest. But what I did see is, I think you said it very well. Great shot, competitive. He's got to be competitive. He's a Koivu. I don't think there's no other way around it. The fact that he has, family members, dad and uncle that have played a long time in the NHL and were real pros about it. I think it's a good thing because they kind of instill what you need to be a professional in the NHL. All those things are good. I'm willing
Yeah,
to give him a chance because of the mono. The only thing that I put him at 24, I would put him this low also at 20 was just because I'm finding it hard to project where he's going to play in this league, right, in the NHL. Um, it's like he's not a defensive specialist. He's physically strong, but it's hard to see that physicality in Finland because it's a defensive game, pretty safe, as you said, not very high scoring, and it's that big ice. So you can't really engage physically as much as you like because if you do, you take yourself right out of the game, right out of the play. I mean, so guys are a little bit more, not that guys are not tough, but you can't engage as much physically as you'd like to. That's why I'm hoping he comes to to Canada next year, which I believe is the plan. Uh, so we'll leave him at 20. I understand the tools that he does have. I just question how you could translate that to the NHL. But hey, he's only 20. He had mono, as you said. Let's give him a break for that reason.
Yeah, he's only 20, so we ranked him 20. That was my thinking on it. No other. No, um, I, yeah, he was fairly high pick, so I think he'll get opportunity. He's son of a Habs legend, so he'll get opportunity because of that too, whether you like it or not. Um, I think he'll be given every opportunity to one day become a Montreal Canadian. Do I do I think that that's going to be the case? Well, if I did, I wouldn't have him ranked 20th. It, he's a long shot at this point, but um, I suspect that this year we'll have a better idea if he makes that next step and puts up good offensive numbers in Liga this year. Then yeah, I'll be a lot more confident that he at least has a shot at playing in the NHL. But if he scores 6 goals and 15, you know what I mean, like just
Right.
doesn't make that next step offensively, at least it's hard to foresee because he's not a checking demon like you say. I don't think he's going to be you know a defensive player. It's his offensive skills or that will get him to the next level. So he's got to start producing, and I think if that happens this year, then he'll move up the list. Next August, I'll have him maybe top 15. Well, we'll see.
Crossing our fingers.
Yeah. Sheldon has weighed in
Awesome.
with $5. Every person, if you want to say something, just send $5 and I'll gladly read it. No, thanks, Sheldon.
Thank you.
Ran out of tooties, I guess, and got a $5 bill out of his pocket today. Appreciate it. I like getting I like when I get a pay raise. Okay, well, let's get to number 19 here, and we are looking at a Quebecer actually at number 19. Not too many. Now that I look at the list here, yeah, he would be. There aren't too many, but 19 is Alexis Cournoyer. Now that's quite a pretty impressive what he's been able to achieve in the last 2 years. We'll just play a little video on him here now. You know, 6'4" goalie from Trois-Rivières. He turns 21 in December. His path to becoming the Canadiens prospect has been anything but conventional. He went undrafted in his first year, like many Habs prospects. Began his draft season playing Junior A with Truro in the Maritime Junior Hockey League, Rick. He eventually earned a move to Cape Breton in the queue, and that's where his stock really took off. He went 13-6-1 with a 182 goals against average and 942 save percentage, with 3 shutouts in just 21 games. So that was impressive. He wasn't even expected to be drafted, and had accepted an invitation to Nashville's development camp. But the Canadiens changed those plans by selecting him in the 5th round, 145th overall in 2025. Like I think he was even on his way to Nashville when he found out, wait a sec, I've been drafted by the Habs, no less. He jumped directly to Cornell this past season, quickly took over the starting job as a freshman, finished 18-10 with a 205 goals against average and a 915 save percentage in 28 games. You got to love the trajectory on this kid, Rick. I mean, I could easily have put him higher, but I think it's goaltending. It's unpredictable. I need to see more, right? One good year. I've seen many goalies through my years of scouting that have really solid years or a year and a half, and then it kind of fades from there. If he does it again this year, I could see him making a significant jump in my rankings of the Habs top 30 prospects.
It's well said, Grant. I probably would have put him near the 10 myself. And the only reason I would have done that is really because of the tools. I mean, I know the trajectory is high, but he's also 6'4". He's around 200 pounds. He's got that size, that frame that you like in a goaltender. I think that in some of the teams in the past he's played, be it Cape Breton or Truro, my understanding is that Cape Breton was not a great team and Truro was not a great team, but so he faced a lot of shots. We've seen that how that goes in the past, and not saying that there's a connection, but Montreal's had some success with goaltenders that came out of Cornell, right? So maybe there's some
Oh
linkage
yeah,
right there.
huh? And just happened to be a 6'4" goalie too, eh, Rick?
Right, that too. But
Yeah.
but I do understand that the being a little bit, safe about a goaltender because as we always say, Grant, one year they're ECHL, next year they're Vezina Trophy goaltenders. They're all over the place a little bit. It's not an easy position to play, but as you said, I like the trajectory, I like the tools, I like the fact that he's faced a lot of shots. He's going to University of Wisconsin, I believe, and if I recall, I think there's really nobody else there in nets that is going to challenge him. Last I checked, I think the other goaltender that they signed is a goalie that was playing in the OJHL, and I think he's only played like 15 games last year in the OJHL, which is not anything to be too excited about.
Oh,
So I'm thinking
after
he's going to
his
see a lot of
after his
ice.
after his freshman season there, Rick, I don't think
Oh yeah,
there's any doubt he's the you know
he's the number one.
Wisconsin wanted him for
Well,
not to be a backup. He'll be the man.
perfect.
And by the way, Wisconsin played in a national championship game this past year, so
Right,
um, that's pretty cool that he's making a step up really in a better conference, right?
right,
So we'll get a better. But there is a caveat in that regard where he didn't play in the best conference. His numbers were great, but there are better conferences in college hockey in the states, and he's moving to uh, maybe the best, the Big Ten. Ladna Dupont, Michael Hage, uh,
uh,
Michigan State, MSU. They are just loaded for bear. Like, so we'll get a really this year. We'll see. You know, will the real Alexei Cornway please stand up and hopefully he's not in the butterfly the whole when he's asked to stand up. Anyway, yeah, I like what you said about him. I think there's a lot of tools there. Very impressive. Now, obviously, Montreal, there's only two goalie spots on a team, and Fowler and Dovish are young, and they look like the future, but you can never predict these things. Would you have said 4 years ago that Charlie Lindgren would be a regular goalie in the NHL and Caden Primo wouldn't?
I
Probably not. You would have
no,
said the opposite, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so you just don't know, and it'll be fun to see his progression. But just like Koivu, I think this is a player that could move up on my list substantially this year, depending on how their season goes.
right on. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this year. Also, Grant. Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. Ken B, 450. Hello, Grant, longtime reader, now watcher. Oh, good stuff. Pick two, Nova Scotia. Thank you for taking the time to. Uh, oh yeah, his female roommate wants me to ask you to trim your mustache. Okay, I'll think about it. Thank you. It I noticed on one side, especially when I'm I don't really notice it till I'm on air. So I don't know about you, Rick, but I'm at that age where I don't spend a lot of time looking in the mirror. Um,
Avoided.
yeah. And now you just I get on. Oh, gee, my mustache could use a little trimming. I actually snipped off about 6 hairs, about an eighth of an inch there today. But yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah, the old soup strainer could probably use a trim. I appreciate that. All right, let's get to
So I quickly want to send some good wishes there to Ken, their cancer fighter. Can't afford any money for you, but I count on your daily pod. So we're pulling for you, buddy.
I forgot. I put that up and then I forgot to. Yeah. Sorry. I got waylaid by the mustache talk, but yes, I meant to. I put that up for a reason. And Ken, thanks. You know, don't worry about not making any donations. Just join our great Habs community here, Ken. That's good enough for me. Now, obviously, um, hey, guess who's number 18, Rick? I guess I let the cat out of the bag here. It is Cooper Cleves, who is number 18 on my list. And we'll just get to his, we'll have a look at his video here. And I will put this, get rid of us. Cleves is 6'3", 205-pound right defenseman. Yay, more right defenseman, Rick. That's good. From Riverside, yep. Connecticut, who turned 20 in January. He was passed over. This is a common theme. Each of his first 2 years of the NHL draft eligibility before the Habs select him in the third round this past draft, 93rd overall. He split the season last year between Vernon, started in Vernon and then went to Green Bay, the season before, producing 15 points in 25 games with Vernon and another 11 points in 38 after moving to Green Bay. I looked at him last year and I thought he should have probably been drafted, but he made the jump to Dartmouth this past season, playing with the goalie there, by the way, is a Habs prospect too, Emmett Croteau.
Yes.
Just missed my top 30, but right there. He made the jump to Dartmouth, had a solid freshman year, scoring 4 goals, 10 points, 30 games, including a pair of power play goals. He'll return to Dartmouth this year, where once again play alongside his older brother, Hank, who led the Big Green with 18 goals and 40 points last season. So it's kind of cool that there's that brother connection too. There's a lot of, the Habs have a lot of players with brothers, with brother connections, right? It's whether it's brothers or famous fathers or whatever the case may be, but you go down the list and there's quite a few. Hudson's obviously, Jack Eyes, the Cleves brothers, and on. So hey, if it runs in the family, that's not maybe a bad thing. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far from Cooper Cleves?
So he's a little bit hard to evaluate, right? Because it's difficult to compare him versus a guy that's first year, 18-year-old, first year draft eligible. He's been passed over twice, so we're looking at a lot more development time compared to the others. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. Having said all that, I do understand after having seen him why Montreal were excited to hire. First of all, to draft him. First of all, he was invited at Habs development camp, I believe last year. So there's the thing that they do know the guy personally well. He's been around with the team a lot, so they kind of understand what he's all about as a person. That's a big plus. Right shot defenseman with size, good skating ability for such a big man. I don't think there's a lot of upside for him in terms of offense, but at the very least, what you're getting is an asset. So if he develops well, and again, he's a bit further along than other people, so it's going to be hard to assess how far he could go. But defensemen do take longer to develop, and he's obviously very intelligent from what I could tell. His positional game was strong. He's got the tools. So I could see him being, at the very least, a nice asset to have in your organization that could be moved, because right shot defensemen with size, often they're on a premium. You have to overpay to get them. So at the very least, I think Montreal could get something good out of him on the market if he does develop as expected. But it's hard to tell. It's also Dartmouth is not prestigious high-end school, but that's maybe a good thing. Gives him a lot more playing time than sometimes if you're packed with a bunch of guys that are taking up some of your ice time. Well, hopefully he'll see a lot of ice time in college hockey. That'll help him too.
Yeah. although Dartmouth did, they were ranked last year and played damn well, but
Very good.
again, in not in an overly strong conference, um, and then got thumped by Wisconsin, I think, in the Frozen Four. But we'll just quickly here run down. Okay, number 20. In case you're in late there, somebody asked last show too, so I'll just run through here. Number 20, Koivu. Number 19, Cornwall. Number 18, Cleves. So that's what we've run through so far, which brings us to number 17. Now this guy, um, I would probably suspect most people think I've got him too low, and we'll give us your comments afterwards. But it is Bogdan Konyushkov. I have him at 17th on the Habs prospect list. Um, let's have a quick look at some of the tape. Okay, probably should have turned that one down, eh, Rick? He's a he's a 5'11" right D from Penza, Russia. He turns 24 in December. The Canadiens selected in the fourth round, 110th overall in the 2022 NHL draft. As an overager, common theme, who already had established himself in the KHL, producing 25 points in 64 games in his draft year. He remained with Torpedo ever since and has already accumulated 237 regular season games in one of the best pro leagues outside of the NHL. Remarkably, I think he was named captain of Torpedo during the 2023 season at just 21 years of age and in only his second KHL season. He is, right now, he's the assistant captain for one of them. The past season was his best offensively, scoring 7 goals, 38 points in 67 games, ranking 12th among all KHL defensemen. He added 5 assists in 10 playoff games. The Habs signed him to a year entry-level contract July 10th, but we'll have to wait another year to see him in North America. Well, another year meaning another season, because he will be joining the team, I think, probably after Torpedo season. So he's hey, he's a right defense, so that helps, I think, his cause. But I do not see a physical defender here, Rick. He's undersized. I don't think you know. I don't think there's a lot of offense there either. I like the player. Um, I just wonder if he's a bit vanilla and not really a great fit for the Canadiens down the road. It's for those reasons that I've got some other players with, I think, a little more long-term potential. He is going to be turning 24. I think what you see is what you get, kind of like with Luke Middlestat. And I just don't know that there's a future for him with the Canadiens, but he's a wild card. He maybe he comes and plays in comes to camp, impresses, and gets a look. It could be anywhere from that to him never playing a game with the Canadiens. What are your thoughts on Bogdan Konyushkov?
Yeah, I think it's hard to foresee him having a role in Montreal just because it's hard to envision Montreal with him and Lane Hudson. And, I don't think Carrier will be there by next year, but it'll be a lack of size that's pretty obvious, and physicality, not just size. We
Yeah,
always say the word size, but it's about physicality more than anything else. He doesn't bring that. Now, what he does have going for him, though, is that because of his, rather solid skating ability and hockey IQ, he's adaptable. I think you'll be able to adapt quickly enough to the NHL. And as you said, he's a right shot defenseman. I could see a team, if he does well, say, we'd like to have him on our team in the NHL as our seventh defenseman, knowing that we could put him in and he won't really hurt us. I don't think he's going to really help us, but he won't hurt us probably if things go really well. For that reason, I see why you put him there, and I think that's a good point. I was almost surprised that he signed him. To be honest with you, just because it's hard to foresee. But at worst, he's going to play Laval. At very worst, he's going to be able to help that team. And Montreal really want Laval to be a good team. I think year after year because it's a big market. It's a for the HL. It's a lot of people that are at the game. So Montreal, I think, want to reward that. So they really want to make sure that they put their best foot forward. So at the very least, he'll help Laval. But I think if things go really well, I could see him maybe finding a job somewhere in the NHL as a seventh defenseman that could come in a little bit and in a pinch and help.
Yeah, I just I did a deep dive on him and looked at the stats and watched some games, and I think one hit in his last 32 games or 38 games or whatever it was just really stood out for me, especially a defenseman. You just how can you go that long without with one hit every 30 some games? It's just like even by mistake run into somebody at least twice in that in that long of a period. So I he's smart. He makes a good outlet pass. He skates well. There's some things to like there. I just find that he's and it's a description a lot of my scouting friends use sometimes. He's a bit vanilla. There's just he doesn't do anything great, and he's undersized. He's not physical. Um, like he's a non-physical version of Carrier almost in some regards. And I don't think that that's what the Canadian that's ultimately what they're looking for here. But there, there are going to be a couple of openings on the right side as time goes along here. Personally, I think Reinbacher is the obvious guy to jump in there, and there's certainly I can't see the Canadiens. Although I do know that Nick Bobrov likes this guy quite a bit, and it's one of the reasons why they drafted him. And he seemingly has a pretty big say in the organization. So we'll see with Konyushkov, but I just I like a few guys a little more at this point. These are all close. Like Cleves, I could have flipped him with the next guy that I've got on my list easily.
Yeah.
Even though he was drafted higher, but right, we're in the and just like Volokin and Cornway, I don't know. Like you could easily flip them the other way around, right? But
Of course.
it's just we're in that. I'm in an area in my rankings where I could spend a month flipping them, changing my mind, going back and forth.
Oh yeah, we've been through that.
Yeah. I still haven't got your list, so I think we're going through that. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Rick.
Oh yes, I do.
No rush on that, by the way. You just wanted to wait till I got mine out, right? Didn't you?
That's it. Easier that way.
Just so you can. Okay, I'll switch them all around now. Make and here we've got at 16 Timofey Arunso, right hand, tops hat prospect, right D, number 16, Runso. And like I said there, Rick, I could have, he could have flipped him in Cleves, but he was the second round pick. Turned 19 in July. So guess what? He was passed over completely in his first year of draft eligible.
Unreal.
1 year later, the Canadiens liked him enough to trade up 4 spots to select him at 57th overall in this past draft. He's what you notice here in this just in this short tape, though, he puts passes right on the tape. He really does. He really is a sweet passer, like right there. He spent the year with Victoria in the WHL, emerged as their top offensive defenseman, scoring 11 goals, 44 points, while leading all in all their defensemen in goals, assists, points His breakout year also put him on USA Hockey's radar, invited to the summer showcase, even though he didn't play, and he'll be looking to earn a spot on the American team for the World Junior Tournament this winter. He won't be returning to Victoria. He'll make the jump to college hockey after committing to Miami University for 2026-27. I don't think he'll make the World Junior. Considering that he didn't play in the summer showcase, it tells me that he won't be playing. I think they probably had a look at. He still has some work to do on his skating, I think, Rick, before we can. I like him with the puck, but away from the puck, his mobility, I think, is probably the thing that he needs to work on the most. What are your thoughts on Ritzel at this point?
He's one of those guys. I'm thankful I got to see him again in February because when I saw him in December, I was really not a fan at all. I thought he
Yeah,
was, his pivots were difficult at times, and it was causing him to often when he was trying to retrieve the puck, he got like hemmed in every time because his pivots were not very smooth, and he didn't get that little acceleration you want him to get to be able to give that extra second to make plays. But later on, when I saw him, I started to see what you did. I mean, the breakouts got really, really quick, really clean, transitions the puck really well. And he didn't have much to play with. Let's be honest, in Victoria. I mean, a lot of his passes were really good, but they died on his teammates' stick after that. So his
true.
numbers could have been even better on other teams. Listen, I'm not. He's not. I think I would have had like maybe 15 other guys I would have picked in the second round. There was probably 15 guys I had ranked higher than I had him. He didn't make my top 60. But again, I could see why the Habs were interested. These right shot defensemen transition the game quickly are always a premium. You want these guys in your organization, and I could see why you pick him. And we'll see how it goes for him. And another team like Miami is going to be a good place for him to go because
Yeah,
again, it's another team that didn't have a lot of firepower last year, so I think they're going to count on him to try to produce offense. I know one guy I'm really high on at the last draft was Ilya Nazarov, and you could really use a guy to get him the
Morozov.
puck a little bit. Morozov, sorry, Morozov.
Yeah,
He could use a guy to get him the puck a little
yeah,
bit because he was
true.
doing a lot of things on his own. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, Morozov will be back. I would presume for another year in Miami. Yeah, maybe they're getting some decent prospects here. Two of the top 60 picks from the last year's draft. So that's
It's
good
good.
for that program, and hopefully they're more competitive. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I had him as a third round pick. I think in the 60s, but late
Mhm.
60s. So picking him at 57, I didn't think it was a terrible pick, but certainly it would not. I had a lot more guys ahead of him
Mhm.
on my draft board when they
Yeah.
made that pick. When I did watch the video on him though, uh, I do like his outlet passes. They're very good. He's a good, he's pretty smart, good vision, good with the puck. Um, Skates forward okay. Like he's a big, chunky guy, so I think he's not a bad skater going forward. It's
Mhm.
the pivots and
Yeah,
mobility he'll have to keep working on because I find that
absolutely.
he gets beat a little too
Mhm.
often, and I think that's probably what the U.S. development team, or sorry, the U.S. hockey saw when they had him
Right.
at camp. But
Point.
quickly running down here, uh, Koivu at 20, Cornway 19, Cleves 18, and like I say, I could have flipped those two, Rick, Cleves
Mhm.
and Rinso. I
Yeah.
might even like I probably do like Cleves a little more, to be honest with you. But you know, I gave the benefit of the doubt to the Habs, picking them
Okay.
higher
Good move.
at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bogdan 17, Timofey 16, and at 15, Evgeny Volokin. Yes, I've spoken. It's Volokin. Um, let's have a look at some of his saves. Look at that. Nice. He's a 6'3" goalie, turned 21 in April, Russian, obviously. The Habs select him in the 5th round, 144 overall in the 2023 draft. Um, he's taken a somewhat unusual path, just like many Habs prospects, since being drafted. Although he was drafted in his initial draft year, Rick, believe it or not. The Habs did pick somebody in
Well,
the
that
middle
doesn't happen.
rounds. No. After dominating junior level in 2024-25, the
Right.
season was largely wiped out. He appeared in only 2 VHL games, but he returned healthy this past year and absolutely dominated Russia's second highest professional rank with Kimmich. He went 25, 10, 5 in 40 regular season games with a astounding 151 goals against average,
Incredible.
948 save percentage, and 9 shutouts. He remained excellent in the playoffs, posting a 936 save percentage and 176 goals against average over 23 games as they made it to the final. He also received his first taste of KHL, appearing in 4 games for Spartak. So his development really got right back on track, Rick, in a big way this past year. He's certainly one of the more intriguing goaltenders in Montreal's system.
Yeah, he's somebody that flew under the radar for me too. I didn't know much about him, and what I am seeing right now compared to the earlier clips of him is athleticism. He's really gone physically stronger, more athletic. His his flexibility is better, and you could see him move around. But you mix that up with the experience he's gaining, and he's reading the play a little better. That doesn't have to rely on it. But now you mix both of them together, and he reads the play better, so he doesn't have to do so many spectacular saves. But he has that capacity now, if he has to use that too. So that's a great thing. And what I really like too is that the VHL has a lot of guys that are a bit older. Shots are stronger. They're a little bit quicker, and he has to adapt a little quicker. That's also a big thing. So I like where you put him there. I could definitely see that. He's a really maybe underappreciated or unknown goaltender in the system, though, that I think Montreal fans should really keep an eye on because there's something there that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, yeah. Brian Johnson, who actually had a cup of coffee in the NHL, played
Oh,
for
nice.
Adirondack Red Wings too for a couple of years. He's saying Rick is a scout for who, and he didn't put a question mark there. So I guess it's a statement. It's just a statement. When How long have you been scouting with who? Rick?
It's like
World
that.
Hockey.
What's it called there? The children's book there. Somebody had a who or something.
Horton here's a who. There you go. Oh, so yeah, he scouts in Whoville, with Horton. Um, no, Rick got his start with McKean's back in the day. I got him recruited to scout. It's a question. I got. I know it was Ryan. That's why I'm answering it, my friend. Um, I got him um, a scouting job with McKean's. It's fair to say,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
uh, and then Rick joined me with recruits after that when I started my website Recruits Hockey, um, and then he just keeps I just keep bringing him back for some reason. Um, he's with HabsCast now, and was recently hired by Simon Boisvert to be a scout for the Princeville Titan. In what league is it, or what do you call it?
I
How
think
do you describe
it's
it?
what I think it's what you guys call often junior A hockey, if kind of in that area, but we call it Ligue de Développement Junior 3A, I believe. So it's just a rung below a junior major, and we're kind
Glad
of
I didn't
scouting
have
in
to
the
say that.
same.
Yeah.
But we're basically scouting from the same group of players. Some of the better players make it to the queue, and we kind of get the players that are tweeners a lot, and we're trying to find those guys. And it's good hockey. We're looking for very good hockey players, and we had our camp today. I wasn't there because it's over 2.5 hours away, but I kind of gonna start doing some games in around a week or two for the first time. So really excited. And thanks to you, Grant. You're the one who taught me everything all those years ago, and we worked hard together and came up with some good content. And here we are, still trugging along after all these years.
Yeah, you bet. Brian says I like his knowledge. Well,
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
he learned from the worst. So somehow he managed to accumulate all this knowledge despite being influenced by me. But
No.
all right, we're through the first half. Okay,
Yes.
Koivu at 20, Alexei Kornway 19, Cooper Cleves 18, Konyushkov 17, Timofey Runso at 16, Volokin at 15. Those are 3 Russians in a row. There's that influence again, Rick.
Yep.
And we're up to number 14 on our list. Now we're getting to the good stuff. These are all solid prospects in the Habs system. I like all of them. Number 14 would be Logan Sawyer. I like he made the top 15, made a jump in my list this year, Rick. Let's have a look at some of his action here. 6'2", 190 from Orangeville, Ontario. He turned 20 in May. Select him 3rd round, 78th overall, 2024 NHL draft. After a huge season with the Brook Bandits. I was impressed that year, actually. I ranked him in the 3rd. He scored 35 goals, 78 assists in 59 games, split between the AJHL and BCHL, where Brooks ended up moving to, and was named to the BCHL Alberta Division All-Rookie Team. He also helped Canada West win gold at the 2023 World Junior A Challenge. 3 goals, 7 points in 6 games. Made the jump directly to Providence after being drafted, and had 6 goals, 16 points in 37 games as a freshman last year. This past season, however, he took a significant step forward. He doubled his goal total to 14, finished with 28 points in 35 games, ranking 2nd on Providence in scoring. His 5-game winning goals tied for 2nd in Hockey East, and he was rewarded by being named a Hockey East 3rd Team All-Star. Sawyer will return to Providence for his junior season in 2026-27. I like the step that he made this past year, Rick. He got bigger, stronger, a little quicker. Want to see that jump once again this year. Even better stats, hopefully, as he has what I suspect will be a huge role on Providence. What are your thoughts on Logan Sawyer? How do you like his progression so far?
Very happy with his progression for the reasons you said, Grant. When he was first drafted out off the BCHL, it's a hard league to scout. The level is iffy a little bit sometimes, so you're kind of unsure a little bit. And on top of it, I think for Logan, he had some skills, but I thought he was underdeveloped physically. But as he said himself, and as we've seen, he's got some dog in him when he plays. Like he plays with pace, he plays with energy, he wants to get involved, but he was lacking that strength for a long time. And then now he grew into that body of his, and now his more natural game, which is more intense, more engaged. He's able to play that game more effectively now. So now it's a lot easier for him to play the game. He doesn't have to play a game that is a little bit more like positional, or if you will, or skill, or things like that. Not that he's devoid of skill. I'm not saying that, but his game is more, I think, to be like a pest, to be hard, to skate, to move, to play with a lot of energy. Now he's able to do that, and we're seeing, I think, the real Logan Sawyer. We talk about how important development is, and how it takes time. He's a great example to me of that.
Yeah. Well, it's a skating, Rick, that's gonna, I think, hold him back at the end of the day. But it did improve. Now, technically, it's not very good, and he's got some issues there. He has the old piano on his back syndrome there
Mhm.
at the end of shifts.
Well,
You know, standing straight up and
down.
bent over.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, it's I mean, Wayne Gretzky was like that at the end of shifts sometimes, and he turned out okay. But you know, this kid's not Wayne Gretzky. Um, I, uh, I saw that the World Junior Challenge in his draft year. He played a game against Sweden where he was the best player on the ice, and it just wowed me. And I thought, geez, this kid, he's got good motor, really good hands. He's got very good hands. That's probably, I think, his best offensive skill is just how good he is stick handling with the puck. So the Canadians have made a point of drafting several of those types of prospects in the top 80 over the past few years, and I don't mind that. Get skill. Yeah, he had some warts, or he would have been picked higher, but he was skinny. Saw him at that first development camp in Montreal, and you know, it wasn't just mechanically uh, where there were issues with his skating. It was strength. It was also strength based, and as he's gotten stronger, he's a little better skater. There's still a long ways to go in that regard, I think. And if he keeps putting in the work, keeps getting stronger, can keep improving his skating, uh, maybe there's enough jam and competitiveness in him that perhaps he could compete for a bottom six role on the Canadians in the future.
I could see that, and to luck, what he does do well is that he keeps his feet moving all the time, so he helps
Yeah,
negate a little bit of his issues with his skating. But yes, there's still a well to go for him, and hopefully now that he grew into that body and he became stronger enough, he could really, the balance and all those other things that are affected by a growth spurt that could affect your skating are kind of behind him now, and he could really just tween those issues and kind of move forward with that.
yeah. For some reason, this is the guy that I think is underrated, said Kenny Pedro. Just the fact he outplayed McQueen, who was a lottery pick, shows something. Yeah. Well, I'm not the biggest McQueen fan, so you know, am I shocked that a guy that was drafted before McQueen outplayed him last year? Not. I don't know that necessarily, is saying as much as McQueen was making the jump from junior hockey and missed a lot of the previous season to college, and as we saw with uh, McKenna, it wasn't he didn't adjust instantly either, right? But yeah, I don't know. It's the skating for me that's just going to hold him back, I do believe, but it has improved. He's he's got some offensive tools, and hey, maybe someday he gets an NHL look, and that's why I've got him top 15 on what is, I think, a pretty deep Montreal Canadiens prospect list. He is ahead of
Absolutely.
guys like Runso was a second round pick. I've got him ahead of him, so clearly I like him. I just I think that there's a baker's dozen that are just a little bit better than him, and that includes my number 13, Rick, Ottawa boy. You probably know who it is.
Oh yes.
Protzy, Owen Protz, number 13 on the Habs prospect list. Um, love this kid. Interviewed him 2 years ago on the Recruits Draft Cast, and he was a gem. Let's have a look at some of the tape here. Him defensively. 6'1", 6'1 and a half, 6'1 and a quarter, really, 213 pounds. So built like a you know what from South Ottawa. Stad's name's Pierre, actually. Pierre Protz, cool name.
Oh wow.
Turned 20 in turned 20 in February. Canadians select him in the fourth round in 2024, splitting that season between Sudbury and Bradford, where he got a huge jump in ice time. He went from being kind of like third pairing in Sudbury to playing like 25 minutes a night in Bradford. Took a took quite a leap the following season with the Bulldogs. 5 goals, 32 points, more than doubling his career high in points, then adding 6 points in the playoffs. That performance also earned him a late season opportunity with Laval Rocket, where he got called up and watched in the stands, but it was a good experience. And an invitation to Canada's World Juniors Summer Showcase, where it was kind of similar to, the kid in Runso, where he didn't really get to play. But hey, it's still a good experience, right? Getting to go. This past season, he returned to Bradford for his final year. 5 goals, 23 points, 64. Ended up being like the third, fourth defenseman in ice time by playoff time because they had a pretty stacked team.
We did.
Uh, you know, had 6 assists in the playoffs. Montreal signed him to a 3-year contract in March, and he'll make the jump to Laval this season. And I suspect, Rick, that he will fit in just fine in the AHL game with his style of play.
He's got the advantage of playing like a rather simple game, right? So when you play a simple game, you don't have to. You're less mistake prone. You could adapt a little easier. He hits people like they owe him money. Geez, sometimes on open eyes, I just wince a little bit when he when he hits somebody. It's an example that you don't have to be 6'5", 240 pounds to hit hard. He's got the proper technique, good core strength, comes in quickly on the hits. The fact that his point total were a little bit higher. People say, yeah, but he has a stacked team to play with. But as you said, he also had a stacked team that took away a lot of his ice time that he could have maybe had on another team. And he still managed to improve in that point. I'm a huge Owen Protz guy for where he was drafted. I'm not saying he's a top 5 prospect for the Habs. I probably would have had him closer to 10, 9, 10 personally, just because um, the physicality as a third pairing guy works for me. I kind of like that part of it. It could have been where anywhere between 12 to 9 for me was in that area. I think he's 12 in your rankings, and that's perfect to me. Really like the kid, and I think he's going to just the way he plays the game. It'll be very smooth and easy for him in Laval.
Yeah. Well, I have him 13, so it's imperfect,
Oh, 13?
but close to being perfect there, Rick. Um, yeah, I look. It's he's a left defenseman, right? I made my rankings more on like this is kind of like a Montreal Canadiens depth chart, right? Who
Okay,
I think
makes sense.
can play can play for the Montreal Canadiens, and he's right now he's 13th on that depth chart for me. Um, I think he's in, you know, he's in tough. Like, is he better than Struble? Is he going to be better than Struble and Jack I don't know. You know, he hits. Those guys hit hard. Like Struble hits hard too, right?
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh he does.
we'll see in the pro game, but Struble's a better skater than Owen
Oh
Protz,
yes,
and
yes.
and he's fifth or sixth on the fifth on the left side in the depth chart.
True,
They've got other ones coming. I for those reasons I had to keep him out of the top 12.
makes
Although
sense.
I do have a left defenseman just ahead of him, so maybe it makes less sense there. But I like this kid a little more, and I'll go into why in a little bit. Um, it's the skating for me that I
Hmm.
think just like with Sawyer, I had the two of them back to back because of their skating just outside of the top 12. But I really like both of them. I mean, this kid, character kid, probably the biggest hitter in the OHL, and I never, you got to love that part of it. Um, he would bring physicality to the Canadiens lineup. If he was a right defenseman, Rick,
Yeah.
I'd probably have him in the top 8.
Yeah,
Because I think
that's true.
he'd be the
Yeah,
perfect third pairing right D down the road with with Reinbacher and Dobson. But I don't
very
see
true.
him being able to play on the right side, and for those reasons, I had him just outside the top 12. But it's hard not to like the kid, and I think top 15 for sure. He deserves it, and hopefully he can. I think he'll adapt to the pro game pretty seamlessly. He plays the he plays the kind of game that no coach is going to dislike. I don't think, and he'll
No, for
get
sure.
he'll get good opportunity with Laval this season. I hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't disagree with any of your points, Grant. That's very true.
Daniel Jacob and Urquhart are both former defensemen. I think they'll appreciate just what Owen
For
brings
sure.
to the table. So Koivu 20, Alexa Cornwallis 19, Cooper Cleves 18, 17 we got Konyushkov 16, Runso, um, Volokin 15th, Logan Sawyer 14. We're getting down, getting close here. 13 Protz, number 12 is a surprise, I think, for most people. I love this kid, Rasmus Bergquist. Let's have a look at some of the video here. He 6'2", 181 defenseman from Sweden, left defenseman, turned 21 in June. Habs selected him final pick of the 2024 NHL draft, 224th overall in the 7th round. He'd already played pro hockey before being drafted, getting into 12 games in Sweden's second division as an 18-year-old. He made a significant jump the following season, earning a regular role with Skellefteå in the SHL, playing 25 games as a 19-year-old. This past season, he became an even bigger part of Skellefteå's defense, played in 40 SHL games, recorded 4 assists, and finished +5, while also spending 4 games on loan to Östersund in the Allsvenskan. So while, his offense remains limited, obviously, at this point, he's already played 65 SHL regular season games before the age of 22, which is mighty impressive. He remains unsigned by the Canadiens and is under contract with Skellefteå till the end of the 2026-27 season. Rick, I would imagine you don't have him that high. You got to look past the point totals as far as, that's not what he's going to be, but that's not what Owen Protz is going to be either. It's not what Cooper Cleves is going to be. I just think he's the best skater of all of these defensemen, and I really like his positioning. I like his one-on-one defending. I like his puck movement. It's not fancy, but he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I like his hockey sense, but really, I just find him to be. He looks like a defenseman. Like every time I watch him, I just say, "Geez, this guy, positionally and skating wise, and how he thinks and positions himself. I see a guy that can play in North America. Will he play in the NHL? I don't know, but probably not Montreal. But again, just like a lot of these guys, I could see him getting interest within the league if he doesn't play in Montreal, and perhaps getting a shot with another NHL club, because I see the tools to be a third pairing defenseman in the NHL with this kid.
Well, I I go back and forth between him and Protz. They're neck and neck. So I think I have Bergquist around where you have him more or less. Grant, as you said, huge fan. You know what
Okay.
coaches really dislike defensemen? What defensemen do? They dislike when defensemen make mistakes. Bergquist doesn't make many, if at all. I
No.
like the way he skates, as you said. I like the gap. He's not a physical beast, but he gets between the player. He separates the player from the puck just enough to make the plays happen. Um, Not much offense, but he manages the puck well, just gets it to the closest guy safely, no big mistakes, lets his teammate take care of it. There's a reason why a seventh round pick was invited to the World Juniors a few years ago, which doesn't happen that often. And he played good minutes, I believe, with Willander, if I'm not mistaken, that year. I may be wrong in the years, but Bergquist was part of the World Junior team for Sweden a few years
Yes.
ago after he was drafted in the seventh round. So that's something to keep in mind. Coaches love players like him, and there's a reason why he's being used so much in Sweden.
Yeah. Well, to have those many games under his belt at such a young age at the SHL level is pretty impressive. I did. I sent a message to Rob Ramage, wishing, congratulating him on his, you know,
Yeah,
retirement, and I did mention Bergquist, and he said he's very interesting. He's a very interesting prospect for sure. Um,
great.
I don't know. Like sometimes you watch a player, Rick, and I think you probably know what I mean. You just say, "Wow, he just looks like a player." Like he just,
Well,
I, I just, I find he's not flashy, but damn, he does everything pretty damn well. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and a very smooth, very nice skater. All right, we're down to 11 here, Rick. I know you got to get going supper soon, so let's reveal number 11 on the list, and it would be Hayden Papanicus, number 11.
Turn it
Let's
over again, though.
let's
Right at
get
the line.
the video out here on him. Apologies if people can't hear me quite as loud. One guy, Philip Gray, says not very loud. Um, he's a 6'4", 200-pound center from Winnipeg. Turned 19 in February. Habs drafted him in the third round, 69th overall in 2025. Uh, they liked him enough to trade picks 79 and 108 to move up 10 spots to get him. He had split his draft season between Spokane and Kelowna in the WHL, scoring 22 goals, 43 points in 71 games. He returned to Kelowna this past season, but off to a difficult start with his bout with mono. Despite that setback, he finished with 15 goals, 37 points in 57 games, and had another 5 points in 9 playoff games. He's been playing major junior hockey since he was 15, already appeared in more than 200 WHL games, but his junior career is now over. In June, he committed to St. Cloud State, where he will make the jump to NCAA hockey this season. And of course, Habs fans would be familiar with St. Cloud State. That would have been where Ryan Poehling, of course, was cut his teeth in college hockey and where he was drafted out of. But Rick, he's a bit of an enigma to a certain degree. A lot. I mean, the size skating combination there just jumps out at you. He's got a very good shot, and you wonder like why does he not produce more? Right? He's got those tools there. Um, why is he? You know, 37 points in 57 games. It's fair to say this year, Rick, I expected more from somebody that was picked top 70 in the draft. Um, Obviously, the mono, we point to that and you say, okay, there is an excuse. So this year is going to be an important one for him. We'll see how he looks in college. And if he makes a smooth transition to college, I could see him getting into my top 10 next year when I do this list again. But want to see more from him. I think that the tools are there. A little bit more consistent in his compete. he's got that. He's got all of this. Like it's the package is there. You just want to see more from him, Rick.
Yeah, I think for that reason, I had him more like 14, 15 in that general area. Just for that reason, as you said, it's you watch him play and you're wondering, well, why isn't more happening? Like, why isn't he taking the play? Why is he seems to get rid of the puck a little quickly at times, and um, it just I find like his engagement wavers, and as you said, and I'll go with the same idea. I'll go with A Mono. B, I'll say, playing last year for Kelowna, that was, Memorial Cup host team. I think it put him in a position where maybe there was a little bit more pressure than he was ready for. I think there was a lot of players coming in. I think the team never really gelled as a whole, it seems, because they were not overly impressive. So I think maybe there was something there. And we also have to remember these big 6'4", 6'5" guys take a little longer. It's natural. It takes a while to grow into that frame. Part of it could be that. I'm hoping, the season's over, no issues with the mono anymore. Have a good off season, get better core strength, work a little bit on your stamina so you can play with a little bit more pace, and then you'll be able to use those tools more efficiently. But he's a guy that I expect. I'm not comparing him as a player at all, Grant, like in their styles of play at all. But Mike McCarron was a little bit the same thing in the sense that he was a big body. It took him a long time to really develop into the NHL. It was a slow process. And I think with Aiden Papanicus, again, not the same type of player at all. I'm not saying that, but it's going to be a longer development. We're going to have to be a little bit patient and see what happens in the next few years.
Right. Sheldon says he's 6'5". Well, he's a big boy, and certainly, the potential is there. His draft year was the same thing. Oh, I saw him earlier. I thought, gee, this guy's a top 50 prospect, I think,
Yeah.
just from
Yeah.
looking at him, And then points didn't come. He got traded. We were left wanting more, and I'm still left wanting more. I ranked him top 12 based more on potential than, um, like there's guys ranked after him who I don't have his potential, the size skating
Right.
combo, the shot, it's there. The tools are there for him to be um, a good fourth liner, center the fourth line on the Montreal Canadiens down the road. And it's for those reasons I think, again, depth chart wise, for me, it was hard to keep him out of the top 12, but he could drop. He's a guy that could drop this year. If I don't see it from him this year, there's no excuse because he's not going to have mono. He'll be dropping in my list if we don't see a jump in his consistency, both competitive wise and offensive consistency. All right, 8:15, Rick, right on the dot.
Great.
No divorce for you. We're going to let you go, and it'll be you're going to be in the good books with Leslie, hopefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Grant, for having me on. And thank you, everyone, for contributing and being a part of it. It's always appreciated. And we will see each other, I guess, tomorrow morning again for more
Absolutely.
fun.
Rick's gonna come on and we're gonna do the top 10 there. So thank you so much, Rick, for taking the time. Okay, my friend.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Have a nice night.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good night. Okay.
Thank you.
Rick Springhetti, folks, the one and only. We're happy that I only asked him at about 4:30, 5 o'clock tonight if he could do this, and he was so kind as to do it. But folks, I'm not going to be too long here. I've put human hours into this the last 2 days. I actually got all the videos done for the show tomorrow morning because, well, I just didn't want to work all night. So the last 2 days it's just been nonstop. But I'm glad I got this done, that I could present this to you. I don't know why it's saying 0 live viewers on X, but apparently it didn't catch on there. I don't know. Let me just see here. I might have to. I'm going to try something here. Now that Rick's gone, and see if we can't get that. It says that it's playing, but then it says 0 people watching. So just bear with me a sec. Okay, we don't need the repeats there. Let's just see here. Okay, there it is. I don't know why this isn't working. Okay, let's get back to your a few questions here, and we'll. Yeah, still saying 0 people watching on X. All right. Anyway, you are the folks that count the most. I guess I'll be doing it at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We were seesawing back and forth between 10 or 11. Do people have a preference? I think 10's probably best. Get it done and then have the rest of the day, right? We're fortunate to have Rick and Blaine with Grant. They're both very knowledgeable. Absolutely. That's they'll be happy to hear that. I'll pass that along, Sheldon. Thank you. Hey, tell me what you think of this list. Whether you agree with it. Oh, now people are showing up on X watching it. Okay. I reposted it on, and now all of a sudden there's people that can watch. Okay, what's happening to Sam Harris? He's going back to Denver for his final year. If you're wondering, like, why is he not in the top 20? I don't like him. I don't like him that much. He's in the 20 to 30 range for me. And once again, just like a lot of them, it's skating. That's the issue for me with Sam Harris. It's not bad. It's not terrible, but for the NHL, not so certain. 11 would work for me. I like to sleep in. Yeah, okay. Well, then it's 10 for sure. 10 is sleeping in, Ken. I haven't slept till 10 o'clock in a lot of years. We're fortunate. Oh, I already read that. But anyway, this is it's going to be fun to do the rest of this list tomorrow. Thank you, Sheldon, for the donation. I really appreciate it. I'll just go over this, do a quick recap. Koivu 20. Hey, he's probably supposed to be top 12, top 15, given that he was picked in the top 70, but just hasn't quite lived up to it yet. Just like Vapanicus has had to fight mono. Here's hoping that he can, he can have a breakthrough year next season. I see the potential there. Just he needs to put it all together this year and produce more at the legal level. Alexis Cornoyer, goaltender for Canal, got him at 19th overall. Had a great freshman year in college. Like his potential. Need to see more of it. If he puts up another really solid year, this one with Wisconsin, then he will be climbing my prospect rankings and probably jumping up quite a bit. Then we got Cooper Cleaves, right defenseman. yet another one that the Habs picked, who was passed over in the draft before. Played at Dartmouth, pretty solid defenseman. I like what I saw when I looked at the tape from him. I think the Canadiens, a big right defenseman, defensive. You know, he's got an opportunity, perhaps down the road, to fight for a spot on the Canadiens. That's why I've got him in the top 20, because he actually is playing a position and plays the style of game at that position where, you know, he might be the ideal third pairing right defenseman in a few years in Montreal. We'll see. Kanyushkov ahead of him. Obviously a better resume, better player now, not even a question. But has he, has he peaked? Is he going to be better? Get any better? He's a right defenseman, just like Cleese, but undersized and non-physical. And I don't think there's a lot of offensive game there, but certainly won't hurt you if he's playing. He's got NHL potential. It just don't think he's a fit for the Canadiens down the road. Rutso, so this is a string of three right D. They're all going to fight it out with Pickford down the road, right? Obviously, you got to give the edge to Pickford, and that's probably the main reason why these three guys are outside the top 15, because Reinbacher, Dobson, Pickford, it's going to be tough. Going to be tough for any of these three guys to beat those three out. I mean, Rutso, presumably taken in part because of his offensive game, while Pickford, he's got all sorts of offensive game, as we saw last year. 15th overall, Evgeny Volokin. Lights out stats wise in the VHL last year, which is Russia's second best league. He there's work to do there, but he competes, he battles. Great stats. It'll be fun to see him at the KHL level. Anytime he's gone and played in the KHL, he's come back down to earth as far as his stats go. He's played on teams, put it this way, that didn't give up a lot of quality shots, but he, regardless of that, he still stops pucks, and you gotta like that. I like goalies that stop pucks. It's just it's the way it is. Number 14, Logan Sawyer, could have been higher. I like the progression he's made this year, in getting bigger, getting a little faster, getting stronger. Still needs to make that other jump, I think, in his overall game, especially with his skating. His skating, I think, is what keeps him out of the top 12 for me at this point. Owen Protz, same deal. Skating is the part of his game that I think will need to keep coming. I'm not saying that it can't. The fact that he's a left defenseman is going to work against him with the great depth that the Canadiens have in the organization, or he would likely be higher on this list, because you got to love the way he plays. He's a physical specimen out there, strong as an ox, hits like an ox. Got to love his style of play. Number 12, this will be a surprise, I'm sure, for most people. It's Rasmus Bergqvist. Obviously, as a 7th round pick, he would not, if you'd have said in his draft year, hey, this guy in a couple of years will be top 12 prospect for the Canadiens, you would have probably thought I was crazy. But every time I watch this kid, I don't see a lot of flaws there aren't a lot of flaws there. Maybe not the most physical player, and I mean that's typical of Swedish hockey players in general, but um, great one-on-one defender, a very good skater, smart, uh, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I like him a lot. I think he's got NHL potential. Just may not be in Montreal because he's a lefty too. Number 11, last guy on this list, and uh, he's in the top 12 based on potential more than performance. I think it's safe to say. There's he's got a great shot. He can skate like the wind. He can fight. He's and he's 6'4", 6'5". So there's a nice that checks off some important boxes there, but where uh, where we need to see improvement, it's fair to say, is in just how his consistency. He's got to compete more often on a consistent basis and put up more points. We need to see more points from him. He can set up plays. He can, he can pick up assists. I wouldn't call him a visionary. I don't think he's a playmaker. He's going to be more of a chip in some goals type guy than he will be a puck distributor. But fourth line center on a big physical line, the potential is there. He's got the potential to be center in the third line someday, and because of that potential, and because of the need for big forwards with some fighting ability, some physicality, when he puts his mind to it, it's there, and the Canadiens have a need for it. So on the Habs depth chart, for me, Papanicus at this point is top 12. Now, he's one of the guys that could slide down quite a bit after this year, or he could even go up a bit in these rankings. Somebody that certainly I could see him moving either up or down over the course of the next 12 months in these rankings. All right. Yeah, I did mention Sam Harris's skating as his Achilles heel. I don't think it's. I think it's gotten a little better, but I don't see NHL skating ability with Sam Harris at this point. I could see Koivu having a turnaround season. He wasn't given a lot of time last year. Yeah, I think so. And he looked good when he did play. I got some videos. I got back my Instat, got back Europe. So I'm going to be starting to make some videos on European prospects here, including on Koivu. And I'll get them up and have some more video scouting reports available for people here as we go along. The NCAA is somewhat of a joke with them just letting guys jump from school to school now. I remember the days where the NCAA had tighter rules against that. Yeah, it does seem like they don't have to sit out a year anymore or any of that stuff either, right? Yeah, it is kind of weird. I think the KHL messed up Logan's progression by throwing him to the Wolves as a 19-year-old. Yeah, well, he certainly got shelled when he did play, right? That's for sure. Let me just bear with me a sec here. I want to check something. I thought it was pretty cool what Slav said. It's been getting a lot of run, and thanks to Mark for sending it to me, but just what he said in in regards to, and Habs players and the media, it's their job, I guess, but they'll keep asking, you guys, you think you're getting underpaid? You know, I think the media makes more of a big deal of it than the players, but he says it's not really about the money for anyone there in Montreal. We all have the same goal on the team. Nobody really cares uh, about the money at this point. I mean, all those contracts that the guys have, or even I personally have, it's already made our lives easier enough. Nobody really needs more than that. It's a nice perspective. I like the way, we'd rather just focus on collecting those rings, cup rings, because that's a much bigger number, and I don't think any amount of money can top that. I remember getting in an argument with somebody on here not that long ago saying, 10 million and cups or 18 million and no cups, what would I want? It'd be, I mean, not even a hesitation. Frick, I play, well, I mean, I'd play for 100,000 in cups, but anyway, free at cups, let alone, oh no, need 18 million and don't care if I win any cups. It's not even it's no contest for me. It would be 10 million and Stanley Cups versus 18 million and not getting a sniff. But um, here's a few things. Kapanen had 11 goals off the rush last season, second on Montreal, only to Caulfield's 18. Slap was in the 94th percentile among forwards with 17 high danger goals. Demidov was in the 90th percentile in average shot speed. NHL.com identifies three biggest questions as to whether Dovish can handle a full season is number one, whether Doc can stay healthy, and who plays 2C. There you go. Batherson rumor, yeah. Well, so, Cappy, 11 goals off the rush last season, second only to Caulfield. That's an interesting stat. What do you think of that, folks? I'll just ask, see if I can dig up a little more here. What I see is a lot of D in the middle 10. Always good to have depth. Yeah, not bad to have some defensemen in the system. That's for sure. They tend to get injured more than any other, position. So, Hayden has the size and the skating. Yeah, and as a scout, you're always gonna, you got the size and the skating and shot. You're gonna get drafted. You're gonna get looks. It just, can light a fire up under him, but it just goes to show what a true leader Slav is. Yeah, exactly. Dylan Larkin, what's going on with him? Detroit reportedly still wants a top six forward. Minnesota remains the most obvious destination, but maybe get back Quinn Hughes. Still haven't signed Hughes there, Minnie. Liney's being linked to Toronto. Yeah, I don't know. Austin Matthews is still rehabbing the knee he had surgically repaired. Okay. Well, also working with the longtime sports chiropractor. I think he's still got that back issue, right? If Matthews isn't healthy, I could see the Leafs getting another high draft pick next year, unfortunately. Slav, of course, for the third straight year was the Slovakian Hockey Player of the Year. Jeff Skinner signed in Switzerland. Looks like his NHL career's come to an end, of course. Pretty quiet on the hockey front there. So I think it was a good time to be doing these draft rankings. I mean, we're getting lousy numbers tonight, and it's Saturday night, mid-August. It's understandable, but for you hockey junkies, just like me, it gave you your fix for tonight, right? And hopefully you can tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Ken, to watch our draft rankings. I'll talk to Rick and see. It's likely going to be 10. Also think that Slav's age is probably the reason he isn't talked about for an A. I see a future leader with him. You know, he'd be a good guy to slap an A on. Might be time. It might just, like, that's a good question, right? Like, he made that step when he got put down with Demi and Cappy. He took a step in his leadership capabilities, right? Took the bull by the horns. He was the vet on that line. Well, he's going into his 5th NHL season now. There's been a lot of NHL players through the years, wore an A within their first 5, wore a letter of some description within their first 5 years in the league. He's a former first overall pick. I think he's well liked in the dressing room. You could do worse than, it might just inspire me. Just like when he got put on the second line, okay, I'm wearing an A. I got to be a leader on this team, and it inspires him even more. Makes yet another step in his maturity and in the level of his game. I hadn't thought about Slav as a possibility to be wearing an A, but that might make sense. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the short list. That would not surprise me at all. And yes, I know. I just had to double check because is it really going into his 5th year? Yeah, it is. When you start playing at 18 years of age, right? But Matthews won't be healthy. The Leafs suck. Don't know that there's I could necessarily disagree with that. Great show again, Grant. I will keep saying Cappy will be number 2 center. Here you go. 5th season, that's crazy to think about. Absolutely. I personally think Slav should be driving his own line along with Cappy and Demi. Maybe. I wouldn't. I loved when they were put together. I know that they started, after their great start, it slowed down a little bit, but you need somebody to replace them on that top line if you do. That's the only, because they, it ended up being near the end at one point. Neither of the lines was playing particularly well, so the experiment ended. But yeah, I would not mind that at all. We have to appreciate all our young players as time zips by. That's for sure. Well, look, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, Rick and I are back at it. We're gonna do the top 10 Habs draft prospects. I hope you can watch it. We get it. Tell your Habs friends about it. Let's try to get a good crowd for tomorrow's show. Okay. Habs need to clone Slav, then they'd be cooking with fire. Oh, 2 Slavs. Look out. Okay. Thanks everyone. Have a great night. Great day to talk hockey. Bye for now.